What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of the best team in FIFA. The best team in FIFA is where I take your guys' favourite or best teams, try them out for myself and see if I enjoy them. However, today is going to be a little different. I'm going to be building a team myself of players because of the team of the group stage or team of the knockout stage cards that are out. There's a few of them there that I really wanted to try out, and I looked at the best team in FIFA subreddit and there weren't many with the ones that I wanted to try out in, so I thought, hey, for one episode let me build a team for myself and we'll see how it plays. Now if you guys could drop a thumbs up on the video, it would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you want to submit your the best team in FIFA, go to reddit.com/r/tbtif and you can submit your team there. A lot of you guys do submit your teams. I appreciate you guys sending your teams in. Obviously, I can only do one per episode, and there's a lot of submissions. And on an episode like today, it's my team, so it's not your teams either. So don't get disheartened if your team doesn't get picked. I do read the subreddit every day. I browse it to try and find teams that I'm going to enjoy using and I think would suit it. And don't forget, when you do submit your best team in FIFA, to give me as much information as possible, as well as potentially, well, not potentially, but I would prefer a foot whiz or foot bin link to the squad. Some people just type a big wall of text of all the players and all the chem styles, and it's really hard to kind of like get what I want out of it without having to sit there and reread a massive paragraph like 20 times just to find the one bit. So if you could format it just a little bit cleaner so that I can see the team on foot bin or whatever, then the chem styles and the instructions and stuff, that would be much more appreciated, because to be honest, if you don't leave a link and you do just write a wall of text, I will almost definitely just immediately click off your post, because it's just impossible to read and take the information I need. But with that being said, I've got a 1 million coin team here today. We did a relatively cheaper team last time around, so I wanted to do an expensive team this time around. And it's not even, considering the players, this is actually a ridiculously good team. We're going to start with the goalkeeper. Now the goalkeeper, I will be honest, is used out of necessity. I have not many players in my club anymore because of these Team of the Knockout packs I've been doing, because this is obviously my Road to Glory account. So in goal we've got Victor Valdez, and he doesn't get full chem, but we'll go through that in a second. In at right back, guys, I have got SBC Juanfran. Now, of course, I can't give a value to the SBC Juanfran, so if you don't have him, you have to use the 83 Juanfran, who's actually a very good card. And I've taken the value, in terms of the SBC cards that I've got, because I've got 2 SBC cards. In terms of those, I've taken the value of the closest rated player of their cards to them. So with Juanfran, the closest rated to him is an 83. But for example, if you have SBC DeMarcos or just a different right back from La Liga that you want to use, you can use any La Liga right back here. It doesn't make any difference. In at the first centre back spot, guys, is going to be Rafael Varane. Really, really good defender. I loved him last year. I love him this year. I've got a shadow chem style on him, which makes him ridiculously good. The only bad point is his physicals, but 6'3", medium, I'm not overly keen with. But because of the defender that I've got with him, I think they actually, they partner each other very well, and that's Inform Martinez. Now, for me, it's the red version, but you can just buy the Inform one. He also has medium work rates, and you can see that I've played 88 games with him before. I enjoy him thoroughly, especially with a shadow chem style. He goes up to like 85 pace and like 96 defending, I think. He is ridiculously good. The only thing that costs him is his height. It's very rare you come up against people that cross the ball, so it's not going to be a huge issue for you. But I picked him because I genuinely enjoy this card. And then at left back, guys, we have got the Spanish left back Bernat. Juan Bernat there, of course, is just a regular version. I've got an anchor chem star on him because he's pretty weak in terms of all stats. I wouldn't be opposed to people putting shadow on him. I've gone for anchor just to boost all of his key stats, his pace, his defending, and his physical. But that is my defense, guys. So as per usual, player instructions, stay back while attacking on all of them, everything else set to default. Why these players? As I said, I really enjoy Martinez. I really enjoy Rafa Varane. He's like the... it's surprising I don't see him much. I think you don't see him much as well, just because of his physical. He's basically the La Liga version of Chris Smalling. Same pace, better defending, and a little worse physical. Juanfran, I absolutely love. The DeMarcos SBC, as you can see, I've got 90 games on Juanfran as well. You can use the DeMarcos SBC, the Informed DeMarcos, the regular DeMarcos. You can use Danilo. You can use Carvajal, the upgraded, the regular version of Carvajal, anyone you want here. But this defense is just a really solid, well-rounded defense. It's not the quickest that what you're used to seeing. You know, when you see the Bailly's and the Smallings and the Ramos and the Boatengs, and like they don't really like, you know, your Hector Bellerians and on the left back you could use you know, Alba or Alaba. Either of those would work sufficient. Actually, Alba wouldn't work. You have to use Bernat. You have to use Bernat. No. 1, 2, 3. You have to use Bernat or Alaba. Alaba is fine too. I've gone for Bernat. But if you have got the spare coins or you already have Alaba in your club, yeah, David Alaba. If you already have him in your club, you can use him. The next midfielder, guys, or the first midfielder, is going to be SBC Fernando Torres. You guys know what I'm like with strikers in at centre midfield. Now, for me, I actually love Torres as a striker, and that's where I usually use him. Sometimes I use him at cam. He's a cam right now because I used to use him in a team that was like built weirdly so that I could change it in game, and he always played either striker or cam for me. And you can see there, from 131 goals, he has 125 goal contributions, 90 goals and 35 assists. But I've looked at his card a lot and thought, you know, he would make a fantastic centre midfielder. 6'1", medium, 4-star weak foot, great pace, great physical, great passing. And because he's in centre midfield and medium, his lack of stamina, because that's the only downside to his card, his lack of stamina won't really bother him that much. His height is nice, so I was intrigued to try him at centre midfield. And that's exactly what we've got. Now, you're probably thinking, wait, you said this was a team of the knockout stage squad builder. Well, the last 5 spots are for team of the knockout stage players. The first player is going to be Thiago. I've never used Thiago this year because I haven't liked his stats, but this 90 rated card is just crazy good. Obviously 5-star skill moves, 79 pace is great, 80 physical, 73 defending, and then for shooting, passing and dribbling, he is just top dollar. I went for the Maestro Chem style on him. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Anchor, Shadow, Catalyst, Hunter, and basically any Chem style that makes him fit your style of play would be ideal. But yeah, the 5-star skill moves of Thiago, only a 3-star weak foot, but another medium work rate midfielder, which I think will be nice for the way this team is built. Excuse me. And the reason why I think that would be nice is because this team is very heavy on the non-attacking players. And the other player we've got in the midfield is the team of the group stage, Casemiro. So this dude, we put Shadow on him. We need to boost that pace. But other than that, his card is just ridiculous. And another medium work rate midfielder. So this the whole midfield and the 2 centre-backs, all medium. It'll be interesting to see how that makes them play. I've already used Casemiro a fair few times as a sub during like my weekend league, and I've enjoyed him. Bateson swears by him. He finds him to be one of the best CDMs in the game. What we've got here is we've got a nice tall midfield. We've got great defensive qualities. We've got great finishing ability. We've got 5-star skillers. You've got a little bit of everything in this midfield except for medium-high or high-medium work rates. And I don't know how that's going to work out, but I think it's going to be fun to play with. And interestingly, for this team today, I've just kept everything the same. I thought if they're medium, let me do the work. Let me trigger the runs with the left bumper and let them naturally play how they would play. And we'll see how that goes. And I picked the 4-3-1-2 because I prefer the 4-3-2-1. Or the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow I like, or the 4-2-3-1 narrow as well is quite a good formation. But quite often I get stomped by the 4-3-1-2. So I was like, let me try the 4-3-1-2. We'll see how it plays. And if it plays well, then great. And if it doesn't, then so be it. This is a test, you know, it's to see if the team works because of the players that I wanted to use. Because this Casemiro card looks deadly. Thiago looks deadly. Torres, I know is deadly and would be intrigued to try him in midfield. Now, for the defense, you can work like in goal. You can put any La Liga goalkeeper in there. If you don't have to use Valdez. He's super cheap anyway. He's like 20k. You can go and get Oblak, Navas, Ter Stegen, whoever you want to throw in goal from La Liga Santander. You can just go and do that. Not a big deal. And again on left back spot, you can put Alaba in there. And the team will still get perfect chemistry. It won't change a thing to have Alaba in there. So that's no big deal. In at cam, guys, we have got the brand new Fekir card. I've actually used his 81 rated card a lot, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I've also used Fekir a fair amount already in Weekend League. The reason why I chose him to go cam is because he's got the 4-star skill moves. His passing is really clean. His dribbling, his shooting, his pace, and his physical are all super, super nice. He's like ridiculously well-rounded for a cam in my opinion. And I went for finisher on him too. Boost that shooting, boost that physical, just to get that shooting up into like the mid-90s. Everything is like ideal for you. His dribbling's so clean anyway. His passing's very nice, and he's got 4-star skill moves. And you can probably guess by the gaps that are left who the other players are going to be. So we've also gone for the team of the knockout stage, Mbappe. Again, I've used him in Weekend League a fair few times already. 4-star weak foot, 3-star skill moves, high medium work rate. I've got Hunter Chem star on him. The only thing that I would say about him is his physicals are a bit, maybe, you know, maybe not the best. But 4-star weak foot. Now, when you compare him to Fekir, Fekir, as you can see, has got better stats everywhere except for defending, which is why I chose Fekir to go into cam instead of Mbappe to go into cam. And then our striker, guys, is one of my favourite players in the game this year, and I'll show you how. So, obviously, we've got his team of the group stage. I've used his blue SBC card a lot. 372 games. Doesn't look like he's got a crazy good goal contribution, but he's used as a sub mostly. So the fact that he's got 266 goal contributions in 372 games all as a sub is very, very good. But we are using his 89 rated card to go up at the top spot. We've got a Hawk chemistry style on him, boost that pace, boost that shooting. His card is very well rounded, very, very similar to the Torres card. You can see there Torres has got 2 more pace, same shooting, 2 less passing, basically the same defending, dribbling and physical. The in-games might be a little bit variant here or there, but Lacazette is basically a Fernando Torres with 4-star skill moves, but not as tall. So 6-1 there for Torres, and then Lacazette, again, I've used him a fair amount of times. And again, you can see I've used him 21 times, he's only got 5 goals, 3 assists, and that is, again, because he gets used as a sub rather than as a starter. Even though he would be a phenomenal starter, I have to use him as a sub. So his team of the season, all 3 of these boys' team of the seasons, the French guys here, the French connection here, all 3 of their team of the seasons are going to be ridiculous. So for the attack, guys, for the player instructions, stay central, get in behind press back line for the 2 strikers, and stay forward for Fekir the cam. I wanted to use this team because I think these team of the group stage cards are ridiculously overpowered and ridiculously cheap for how good they are, just because of the SBCs. When you look at them, Lacazette is 280,000 coins. I think he's actually cheaper than his SBC card is to complete. Of course, you don't get the packs for that, but you can. He's tradable, so there's a trade-off for that. But for 270,000 coins, he's ridiculous. Fernando Torres also is very expensive with 260,000 coins. You can use any Spanish La Liga midfielder here. It doesn't have to be Fernando Torres. If you would prefer to use Koke, or if you have... you could actually use, if you have Bernat instead of Alaba, you could use any La Liga midfielder that gets a strong connection with Casemiro, Varane, or Martinez. So you could use, for example, James Rodriguez in here, and he would still get the perfect chemistry, as would Thiago, because he gets a triple link from Bernat, as would Martinez. It's entirely up to you. I just really wanted to use this Torres card here, and I know a lot of people couldn't afford to do this Torres, which is why I've said you can also use his 88 rated foot birthday card. So between Torres and Lacazette, they're the most expensive, but Thiago is 100,000 coins, Casemiro 90,000 coins, Fekir is super cheap at 93,000 coins, and Mbappe is 50,000 coins. For how good these blue cards are, they are super, super cheap. For custom tactics, guys, I've gone for something a bit different today. I've put my speed way high, I've put my passing way high, and I put my shooting way high. I want to just test some things out whilst doing the best team in FIFA, and for this reason, we're going to be going into the daily knockout tournaments. I don't want to take like very random custom tactics into Division 1, so we're going to go and test this out. These are the custom tactics I'm using today with this formation, and we'll have a go at how they feel. Now, the bench for you guys, you can use whoever you want on the bench, because I've just got some of my favourite players in Hazard, Lukaku and Suarez, and then some of the players that I would like to use but never really get the opportunity to, because when I play Weekend League it has to be about meta and wins. So I've thrown on there another awesome player that I think is fantastic in Dendoncker, and he's like 20k. For a super sub, if we actually compare him to Casemiro, more pace, less shooting, which is not really that important for a guy that is your defensive-minded midfielder, like marginally less physical defending and passing, and then quite a bit less dribbling. But Dendoncker for 20,000 coins is a magnificent sub, and he's 6'2" with medium-high work rate, so he's going to be a lot of fun. Ashley Cole, Promes, and Taiwo. Taiwo's just got a ridiculously well-rounded card. I was just interested to see how he would play if we used him as a sub, like in midfield or potentially even in a cam or something like that, because he's just so well-rounded. But this is the team, guys. Yeah, we're going to test this out in Daily Knockout. Let's get into the action. Okay, guys, so as we go into the gameplay, the first opponent we come up against has got a 4-4-2 team. And it's not the best team, but it's not the worst team, right? It's got Butland, Bellerin, Ian, Robben, Kante, Bailly, Shaw, Musa, a lot of meta players. And his two common cards that he had there, he subbed them off straight away for Rashford and Dembele, I want to say. So he actually had a really a strong team. You know, notoriously the Daily Knockout tournaments are not the most difficult, but that doesn't mean that they're not. That doesn't mean that every opponent is easy. I asked every opponent up until the final what they usually get, and this guy said he never qualified for FUT Champs before, which was understandable. You know, he didn't have like incredible players. If I would have had to guess, I'd say he's either never really played FIFA before, or he's just not very good at all. But like the team that he had at this stage, to just have Robben as your marquee player wasn't so great. The guy in the second round says that when he doesn't play every week, but when he does, not because he can't qualify, but because he just doesn't have the time to play. But when he plays, he usually gets gold 3 or gold 2. The guy in the third round usually gets to gold 3 or gold 2, and then the guy in the final, I didn't end up asking where he got, but it's very clear by his gameplay and by his team, which you'll see that he is at least a high gold or low elite player. So this first game, it was fun, this game. This was a game where I didn't really get to test out the team and tell the good from the bad, and whether or not the formation was good or whether or not the players were good, because like this guy, he just wasn't very good. And yeah, there is something to say that I shouldn't have been playing against him. But it's not my decision to do things how EA have done them. They decided to make the Daily Knockout tournament as it is. You know, I'm only allowed to win it once, and then I can't be in it any more times after that. So not a lot more I can do about it, really. So we go 6-1 up in the 57th minute. We score with Lukaku. I did bring some subs on. I actually put Taiwo up front in this game, but I couldn't get a goal with him. I tried, and he just couldn't get in there. But 7-1 was the full-time score on this game, guys. Honestly, it could have been 15. His Jack Butland made some incredible saves. I'll show you. I think he made 10 saves, but not just 10 saves, 10 unbelievable saves from like really good opportunities. And if I was against a better player and his Butland was on form, I might not have won that game. But my opponent had 6 shots, 4 on target. I had 25 shots from really good areas, a few long shots, 16 on target, 7 goals, 10 saves for his Jack Butland there. And as you can see, switched formation in game as well to the 4-3-2-1. So he knew what he was doing. Second round, Tottenham, Connor. Really nice setup. I've used that Sinclair and Dembele myself. I've never used a Griffiths, but he's a very good card. The rest of his team is it's interesting. Again, Bailly, Walker, Butland, Rose, meta players. The other centre-back is always interesting. Both of them had players, Matip in round 1, and in this one, I can't remember who, Ogbonna, I think, as his centre-back. 2 very decent centre-backs, but Chris Smalling is there for you. You know what I mean? Like, unless both of them just happen to be on a situation where Smalling was unfit and they rotate squads, or maybe they're trying teams for fun or whatever. But my opponent here, he actually scored a really nice goal to get the first goal of the game. It wasn't difficult for me to get back into this one, though, because this attacking trio, I can see why people like this formation. It's very, very strong offensively. Like having 3 central players like that is different to the 4-3-2-1, because even though in the 4-3-2-1 you're like this, you know, 2 wingers and a striker, and in this one instead you're just like this with the cam and the 2 strikers. It's only like 1 person has moved up or down. But in the 4-3-2-1, the 2 forwards are so much wider. Even though they're not wingers, they're so much wider that you don't feel like you have a true trio up front. But in this formation with a 4-3-1-2, you could say that this is like the 4-3-3, you know, 4 defenders, flat 3 midfielders and a flat 3 strikers, because when you set stay forward to your cam, that's how it felt. Fekir was basically a 3rd striker for the whole game, and I thought that was great. I really enjoyed it, and it allowed so much creativity up front. It was so easy to generate chances. I went 2-1 down in this game. I pulled it back to 2-2 there with Lacazette. Really clean finish from him. He was good to play with, man. He felt rapid. His agility was super high. He was just fun to use. Bernat here getting in behind. Casemiro there lobbing that one in the back of the net to make it 3-2 after 60 minutes. And my opponent, he kind of fell apart at 3-2 there. Like he put in a real good shift when he was 1-0 up and 2-1 up. He was doing really good. He was competent and composed. And as soon as I took the lead, it felt like he'd just given up. He was like, oh God, like that's it, it's over. And it just became a little bit more easier for me to break through his defence there. Eden Hazard on as a sub comes in and scores a goal to make it 4-2. And there was still time for one more goal in this game to make it 5-2 to me. Hazard there with the nice finish. And it was a penalty from Fekir that wrapped this game up. The keeper dived the right way. He even got body to it. But you know what the penalties are like this year in FIFA. Goes underneath his body into the back of the net. And his Jack Butler made 6 saves. But again, a strong performance from my opponent. Really tough game. I think he actually had more possession. Yeah, he had more possession than me. I was just able, as I said, this team is just so great going forwards. Creatively, you're just able to generate chances like it's nobody's business. Into the semi-final, we came up against a really, really good team. 3 legends. He's got a Man United squad with Butland. No idea why not David De Gea, but again, a meta team there. The only players you'd say aren't really meta, perhaps Juan Mata, and maybe Mkhitaryan, although 5-star, 4-star Mkhitaryan, I'd argue that actually he probably is part of the meta. You know, Heung-min Son, 5-star, 4-star, of course Son has a little bit extra pace, but other than that, he's good. And Mbappe got the only goal of the game here in the 52nd minute. It was a really difficult game, and this was one of those games that showed me that this team actually is very good, because my opponent here was a really strong player. His team was very, very good. And I still managed to grind out a win in a game where, again, I was creating a lot of chances. Valdez with 1 save, his Butland with 6. And again, even though I only won 1-0 on this one, you'll see by the chances created, this team is just so good going forwards. 12 shots, 7 on target. Possession, again, was quite even. And I did find that it was difficult to retain possession in this formation, because the way I personally retain possession is down the wings. Because this is so central, you can't really do that. And into the final, we come up against a guy with a really nice team. In form Mustafi, Kasper Schmeichel, legend Shearer. He's got the 88 red Lukaku and the 85 red Baines. Incredible midfield, Dembele, Matic and Nainggolan, Dybala up front, Florenzi at right back. And this was a good game. It was a real back and forth game. I let myself down a little bit defensively, just lunging in, slightly, panic tackling a little bit, and selecting my defenders too much to try and push the ball when I should have just let the AI do it for me. But this guy was he was on a mission, and after he scored the first goal, he celebrated like he doing the arms and stuff, and he eventually got a lucky set. It was actually a good finish, but lucky to get the ball. Really good finish from Nainggolan, and he's dabbing, and then he's trying to time waste, and you'll see his celebrations were akin to who he was, and it wasn't winding me up because I was creating the chances, I was trying to get back in the game. I was doing my best, and eventually we got a goal to get us back in. Good work down the left-hand side there. Gets the ball into Thiago. Thiago to Lacazette, and Lacazette showing that really clean finishing one more time to make it 2-1 there in the 79th minute. And there was still time for more goals in this game. And remember right back at the start of the video, I said one of the problems with NepentheZ is that he can't win headers. But it won't be too much of a problem because you don't come up against people that cross so much. Well, that was a deciding goal in this game. He ran away shushing me. And interestingly, even though he won the game, I lost this game in the final, very narrowly I might add. I did pull it back to 3-2. He sent me messages of abuse afterwards. So I found it, so I understand why people send rage messages when they lose. I don't understand when people send rage messages when they win. Into the 88th minute there, I end up hitting the bar of Lukaku, this close to taking it to extra time and potentially going on to win. My opponent did a good job of kind of like grinding the game out, grinding the win out. Both our keepers made a lot of saves. There was a lot of chances on either end, and unfortunately it was that header that was the deciding factor in this occasion. So guys, that was a team, very enjoyable team. I would recommend it to try it. I had a lot of fun with it, and it would do a good job in divisions, no matter what division you're in. But this, guys, is going to be the end of the video. Don't forget, if you want to submit your team to the best team in FIFA, then reddit.com/r/tbtif. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.